that I got that VA rant out of the way, guys, I want to talk a little bit about this Musk-Trump thing. Now, guys, really quick, something's up with my YouTube analytics. I did a video on Elon Musk and Trump like 2 days ago, and for whatever reason, it's saying this right here is the total amount of views, but yet if you've actually clicked on that video yet, which by the way, I'll leave in the comments section of the description box for you guys to kind of explain. This is just kind of a follow-up on the previous video that I made the Tuesday. Something very, very weird with YouTube. YouTube does this from time to time where they give you out false views and whatnot. And of course, the only reason why I'm talking about, and something else too, the Musk videos don't typically tend to travel well anybody's YouTube algorithm, anybody's YouTube channel. Very, very weird. I don't get that. But guys, I want to talk about this for a second. I got to ask the question, has Elon been playing us the whole time? Is Elon even for real? I didn't ask that in the previous two videos I made, especially after he did his initial Twitter deal. And of course, as we all know, he's being sued by Twitter now because he's trying to back up the deal. As I explained in the previous video, people think that, and by the way, it's a legitimate reason why he's playing 4D chess. But the thing is this right here. I just got to wonder, is Elon even for real? Now, guys, before we ponder this question, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you guys cut on the notifications bell. Make sure you guys subscribe. Let's make this channel get bigger. And also leave a comment in the comment section. I want to get you guys' thoughts. Elon's, quite frankly, polarizing. He does have his own group of simps, okay? And, of course, you're seeing some of these that came from, oh, by the way, guys, I'm on Truth Social now. Look for Claymore John if you've got a Truth Social account. Look for Claymore John, and, of course, just look for that. I'm also on Twitter, too, so make sure you guys look for either one of these accounts. Make sure you guys follow me there. Now, Trump put these out here, okay? And what I meant to say the other day was that Trump had said that Elon told him that he voted for him. Trump basically roasting him, saying, "Look, man, you came to the White House and you practically asked me for subsidies." You know what I'm saying? Which, by the way, is not that uncommon to do. And I think what's really going on is that Trump probably just feels a little bit slighted. I think he's actually having some fun because Elon actually put out a tweet responding to this with a good old-fashioned LMAO. Now, the reason why I'm asking if Elon is even for real is because this whole entire thing seems to me like a strategy that could actually backfire on him. Now, it could work. I actually hope that it does. I think Twitter needs new management because Twitter, quite frankly, is a shitty platform. But you're talking about a guy who's apparently we're finding out he's got ties to China, and now out of the middle of nowhere, he's simping for DeSantis and trying to tell Trump to stay out of the 2024 race. Now, guys, people come on this channel and think to themselves, man, you're just a freaking Trump simp. No. I mean, I'd prefer Trump over DeSantis because I told you I wanted that reform term. But here's the deal, though. I can see bullshit. I can smell bullshit. Don't get me wrong. The guy I just mentioned, Trump, he's got his own faults, too. Elon's got faults. I mean, like I said, I actually like Elon. I think he's a very smart guy, very innovative, but I'm not entirely on board with trusting him. I like DeSantis, but I'm not entirely on board with trusting him, especially with all the things that oh, really quick, speaking of Ron DeSantis, I didn't even know this one. DeSantis is okay with taking down Confederate statues. I just now figured that out. He wants to put civil rights leader statues up there, which I kind of, and by the way, my rule on statues is this, right? I don't think any statue, even the bad statues, I don't think any statue should be taken down. And I'll briefly explain that right quick, and then I'll do a further expansion of the video. The reason why you don't take down statues is because you need to be reminded of your past, so that way you can be reminded of where you came from. You see, it almost feels to me like they're going to get their socialism one way or another, or their fascism. By the way, guys, what we're going through right now, what they're trying to do, is not really and truly socialism or communism. I know it feels like it, but in reality, it's actually fascism. Let me explain my point. You see, back in 2008 with TARP, the banks originally didn't want to be bailed out. They thought they could fix the problem on their own. Democrats and Bush, they basically took control of the banks. Of course, in 2009, when Obama was in office, things got a lot worse. The banks were now beholden to the government, meaning that now the government kind of had the ability to had more power over the banks, is basically what it is. That's one of the many forms of fascism. By the way, when the wokesters tell you that you've got to accept their way of life, that's fascism. That's actually fascism. You see, in communism, the whole idea is to try to make everything equal, which, by the way, that's what equity is. They say equity, but in reality, what the hell is really and truly going on is they're giving these fools over here more power than they are you. 3% of the population, actually 6% of the population is getting more power than you are. They're actually getting now more rights than you do. Because, see, now they can hit you, and then you can't hit back. You can't even fight back. That right there is more fascism. If you guys are kind of picking up on what I'm saying. It's more along the lines of fascism. Whereas Nazism, it seems that they just go after one person, which, by the way, is just another form of fascism. Of course, it's National Socialism. Now, we'll probably do a bigger video on that at a later date. But it feels to me like either way, they're trying to get at least some of those elements in. You see, Trump came out back in 2020, I think it's 2017. He didn't want the statues taken down. The whole infamous, the very, very fine people speech, which, by the way, has been debunked. He was talking about everybody that was there. There were some bad people. I'm not really going to, we'll just go ahead and play it.
You had a group on one side and you had a group on the other, and they came at each other with clubs, and it was vicious, and it was horrible, and it was a horrible thing to watch. But there is another side. There was a group on this side, you can call them the left, or you've just called them the left, that came violently attacking the other group. So you can say what you want, but that's the way it is.
On both sides, sir, you said there was hatred, there was violence on both sides.
Well, I do think there's blame. Yes, I think there's blame on both sides. You look at both sides. I think there's blame on both sides, and I have no doubt about it, and you don't have any doubt about it either. And if you reported it accurately,
they showed up in Charlottesville to protest.
Excuse me, they didn't put themselves down as you, and you had some very bad people in that group, but you also had people that were very fine people on both sides. You had people in that group, excuse me, I saw the same pictures as you did. You had people in that group that were there to protest the taking down of, to them, a very, very important statue and the renaming of a park from Robert E. Lee to another name. Well, no, George Washington was a slave owner. Was George Washington a slave owner? So will George Washington now lose his status? Are we going to take down, excuse me, are we going to take down statues to George Washington? How about Thomas Jefferson? What do you think of Thomas Jefferson? You like him? Okay, good. Are we going to take down the statue? Because he was a major slave owner. Now we're going to take down his statue. So you know what? It's fine. You're changing history. You're changing culture. And you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists, okay? And the press has treated them absolutely unfairly. Now, in the other group also, you had some fine people, but you also had troublemakers, and you see them come with the black outfits and with the helmets and with the baseball bats. You had a lot of bad people in the other group too.
The press treated unfairly, sir. I'm sorry, I just didn't understand what you were saying. You were saying the press has treated white nationalists unfairly? No, I just didn't understand what you were saying.
No. There were people in that rally, and I looked the night before. If you look, there were people protesting very quietly the taking down of the statue of Robert E. Lee. I'm sure in that group there were some bad ones. The following day it looked like they had some rough, bad people. Neo-Nazis, white nationalists, whatever you want to call them. But you had a lot of people in that group that were there to innocently protest, and very legally protest, because, you know, I don't know if you know, they had a permit. The other group didn't have a permit. So I only tell you this. There are two sides to a story. I thought what took place was a horrible moment for our country, a horrible moment. But there are two sides to the country. Does anybody have a final? Does anybody have? You have an interest.
You guys were just reminded just now of the whole very fine people hoax. But then again, though, I just realized something while I was making this video. I kind of caught myself in a little bit of a lie. You see, I just said in the previous segment that Ron was okay with taking down Confederate statues. He wanted to replace Confederate statues with civil rights leaders. Okay. He then turned right back around 2 years later and actually instituted a law, which, by the way, would make it a felony for touching Confederate statues. I'm just curious, why the flip-flop? I mean, like I said before, I'm not okay with any statues being taken down. I'm actually okay with more statues being put up. But why do you want to replace the statues? I mean, you need those statues to kind of remind us of history. Now, I know what you're thinking. You just mentioned that DeSantis made it a felony to do so. However, though, when you actually look into the bill, it's not as strong as you might would think. Videos will be done on that in the future. So that way I wouldn't get to an absolute tangent. But the thing is this right here. It just feels to me like they're trying. They're trying everything they can to get some type of plant in. And the more and more I look at DeSantis, I see that he's probably a bit of a plant, a little bit more of a rhino. Okay, so please explain to me why it is that this entire thing started. And I think it all stems back to Elon Musk, and also something else too. Elon was saying he wanted the Democrats to call off their attack on Trump. Okay, but what Elon doesn't seem to understand is that every time Trump gets attacked, and I mean every time he gets attacked by the liberal media, he only gets stronger. His base only entrenches further. I mean, dude, I'm not even really and truly fully part of that base, and here I am defending him. You see, the more you attack this guy, the stronger he gets. Ron DeSantis, the people already have the impression already hate that guy, whereas Trump is a guy that they used to love. So I think it would be a little bit easier to actually be sympathetic to the guy who, by the way, his overall approval numbers, his overall favorability numbers have actually gotten high since he's been out of office. Maybe it's because the January 6th witch hunt's actually making him more popular. Maybe DeSantis does not want Trump to be the nominee. Maybe Elon Musk does not want Trump to be the nominee, so that way they can get DeSantis in there. You see, I think it's starting to make a lot of sense that maybe it's possible that Elon Musk himself could be pushing a plant. I mean, Elon's got ties to China. Did anybody ever think that maybe Elon himself is a bit of a plant? It'd be much, much more favorable. You put this guy in office, you got him in office, you might get business favors. And as far as the competition for cars, I don't really know. And the @Jack comment's really kind of weird because Jack Dorsey is not at Twitter anymore. But I just figured I would throw that out there. You know, I'm just kind of wondering if Elon Musk is not playing us. I know it took a little while for me to get to this, guys, but I just wanted to kind of throw it out there as a possibility. Now, guys, before I end this video, the VA desecration video will be on both channels, Gear Issue 33, and it will be on John Claymore out tomorrow. The Biden inflation video will also be on both channels as well. This video right here, of course, will only be on this channel here, John Claymore. And, of course, we'll be getting back to the normal topics starting the day after tomorrow, which, by the way, today is Wednesday. Tomorrow is Thursday. And, of course, on Friday, we'll be going back to the normal content. Guys, John Claymore here. If you like the content, hit the like button, subscribe, share the videos. Also, leave a comment in the comment section. I want to get you guys' thoughts, and I'll see you guys later.